Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Bent with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. In fact, we've got one coming back.
Yes, a returning guest, Jessie G, known for hard driving songs like Timeless, Army Ranger, and Whatever This Is. Her newest release dives deep into hurt, longing, pain, and joy. Jessie co-wrote Rainbow Lullaby with Gwen Sebastian after several miscarriages, a string of COVID-canceled tour dates, and the feeling of losing her identity. She credits the song as saving her. She and her husband are due with their first child, a girl, the first week of December.
And we're going to talk about all that and then more. Some. So welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
It's definitely our pleasure. So I like to start the show out the same way. And I guess COVID has affected you a little different than a lot of people because there's a lot of issues have come up. But let's go there. How has COVID affected you? And what have you done this past 18 months to kind of maneuver through this?
I mean, when COVID and the pandemic hit, it was kind of like, no one knew what to do and we didn't know what to expect. It went from, it'll be a 2-week lockdown to the next year or so affected with no shows and canceling dates. And it was hard. It really affected me personally and mentally a lot. I mean, you have this sense of what your year is going to be as an artist, and you have shows lined up and you have all this work and you kind of project like what your income will be for the year. And, to have all that taken away and just not really know what the future of it is a very scary thing. So when all that happened, it was like, I felt like I lost the sense of who I was and my identity. It was just a crazy thing that I hadn't ever really felt like before because, there's always we always have some control over what's going on. And in that moment, it was like, we didn't have any control. So it was really difficult for me personally and mentally. And then around that same time, my husband and I found out we were pregnant. And at the time, it was like really exciting news. And we almost felt like, it was meant to be, like, the shows got canceled and stuff, but we can focus on our pregnancy. And we got really excited and imagined what the future of that was going to be, and being parents and just getting used to the thought of having, this little baby in our lives. And then that was shortly after that was also taken away from us. And that piled on top of everything that had already happened was the hardest thing that I've ever been through. My husband could say the same thing. It was weird because it was like, you don't really know how to handle it. You don't really want to talk about it because it's a subject that's really hard to talk about. And it's actually a lot more common than you think. But you don't know that until you start leaning on your friends and you start asking other moms and, hey, this happened to me. And then all of a sudden you hear it happened to them also. So it was really hard because we got hit back to back with that. Because right afterward we were like, let's try to have another baby. And so, we tried again, and then we had another miscarriage, and it was farther along that time. And it was just
like back to back.
It was hard. And, it was one of those moments where I had to like look inward, and I was so broken from everything going on at the time that I had to really think about like how to heal from losing 2 babies, and also how to just focus on healing, focus on my faith, focus on finding out how to get better, get through it. And so I tried to take my health in my own hands. I tried to, I reached out to a holistic doctor and a fertility women's health coach doctor. And, she helped me reset my diet and do all these things that really helped. Because what you put into your body also affects your mind, and it affects, you. Absolutely. And so it was really a blessing that, I was able to work with this lady and totally reset my eating habits, and then work out every day, focus on meditating, focus on just being super mindful every day, waking up and being like, what's going to make me happy? What's going to get me through this day? And when I felt overwhelmed or so sad because of the traumatic experiences we had been through, I would, I had finally tools to be able to deal with the trauma. I had tools and a way for me to help the healing process. And then pretty soon the healing process, it doesn't happen overnight, but little by little it does happen. And one day I felt strong enough to talk about it, and I was going to Nashville, Tennessee to write songs with a co-writer, Gwen Sebastian. He's an amazing artist, singer, songwriter, amazing writer. And so we had a couple glasses of wine during our co-writing, and I just opened up. I was just like, the floodgates opened up. Honesty, truth, it all came out, and it was a really big healing moment for me personally. And she just listened, and she took it in, and she was there for me. I actually stayed the night at their house, and it was just a really great healing night. And then the next day I got a message from her, and she's like, hey, like, I think you need to hear what I've started. It's amazing. Yeah. It's like your story last night. I just can't get it out of my head. And I went on a walk, and this is kind of what I have. And she sent me what the start of Rainbow Lullaby was. I was in my car. I started listening to it, and I just cried and cried and cried. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I went back with it, and I was like, hey, I have like some changes to make the song actually, more our story. And, and we worked on it for another like month or so. We added a lot of things into it and changed some things. And
that helped in healing too.
It did. It was one of those things where I had to really be careful what time of the day I was working on the song. I had to really be careful, like afterward, to do some meditating and like just really be good to my mental health through it.
Yes.
But I feel very blessed that I have that to honor and remember my angel babies by. And they'll always be here with me and in my music. And man, I just feel
now about to have a baby.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see. I guess I could stand up, but yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. So what was your first thought when you found out you were pregnant again?
You go through a lot of things. Well, personally, not everybody goes through the same experiences, I'm sure, but I went through a lot of anxiety at first because I just was like, all right, I'm not my past. My past doesn't need to repeat itself. And I had put so much work into my health and my mental health, and I was eating healthy, and I knew that I had everything, the strength that I needed to provide for a healthy pregnancy. So I just, every day I would just keep repeating that stuff to myself and be positive. And of course, you worry about every little thing. Like, how can you
like, I'm sure any small pain you might have had, you're like, up.
Yeah.
You probably question everything.
Yeah. My poor holistic doctor, like I would message her probably every day. And, I just was very, very blessed that I had my husband's strength there with me. And he has been, oh my gosh, he's been such a rock through all of this. And, really just relying on God too. And just being like, hey, what is your plan for me?
In your hands.
It is in your hands. Yeah. And, it took us 6 months to tell people that we were pregnant because, I just didn't want to say it until I just we were at that
What
moment.
was that like when you made it to the 6 month mark and you're like, okay, this may be actually happening this time?
Yeah. It was it was such an amazing feeling because I knew that this is a healthy pregnancy. This baby's going to happen, and it was, there's so many emotions. But I've never been so blessed in my life. Like I know when I hold her in my arms for the first time, I'm never going to be happier. And I already love her more than I've ever loved anything, and my husband too. And, and she's not even physically here yet. Well, she is physically here, but, but when she's out in the world, I know it's going to be, it's just going to be the best thing that ever happened to our lives. So, but yeah, announcing that, we announced that for the first time actually on stage at a festival, which was
wow.
Yeah, I wrote a song about, I call it, this is just being funny, getting knocked up and hitched. And I, a very like tongue in cheek, like, and we call it "Took the Wheels Off the Trailer," which is pretty funny. And it's my grandma's favorite song, which is so weird for me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, we'll probably end up recording it. But I wrote a song, to kind of announce it, to be cute and funny. And
did people pick up right away that, oh, you're pregnant again?
Did people what?
Pick up right away that, oh, you're pregnant again?
Yeah, I made a couple, because I was like at that point pretty visibly like popping.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made a point to like make some subtle jokes about it. And then by song number 5, we did the gender reveal on stage, and we found out it was a baby girl.
Oh, wow.
Oh, congratulations.
So they got the experience with
the fans
the
got
whole
to experience that with
me. It was
that's amazing.
It was super special, and it was in my home state, so I got to have a lot of family in the audience, and we made shirts and koozies that said it's a girl, so it was really special.
Wow. So let's go back a little bit. A lot of people would ask, when did you know you wanted to do music? But I like to go deeper than that. When did it click that this could actually be a career for you?
I think it's never just one moment. I think it's always little by little things happen. There are like a lot of huge moments in time that happened that I would say were kind of like aha moments where I was like, wow, I'm doing this for real. But when I was a little girl, that's all I wanted to do was just be a rock star, be a country music artist, or I wanted to like play sports professionally. Like I wanted to do something that I felt like was super big and fulfilling. And then when I was in middle school, I had a great mentor and music teacher that took me under his wing, and he took me to all these jazz festivals, and I would always win these competitions. Every time I'd sing by myself solo, I would win first place. And so I knew that I had something special, when I was young. And then I just kept honing in on that talent, but I kept living life, and I kept being a kid. I played 3 sports, and just did all the things. I wasn't so crazy focused on music until probably senior year of high school. And then I got a scholarship to go to college for music. And that was a big moment where I did think to myself, like, wow, this could be be a career,
Oh, wow.
And graduated college with a music degree. Very grateful I did that, because I learned a lot of skills that would later add to my songwriting and my vocal performance, just skills and stuff. And after college, I heard about this Battle of Bands competition, and if you were going to win it, you got to open up for Gretchen Wilson. And Gretchen Wilson was somebody who I admired like all growing up. So I put all my eggs in that basket, and I was like, we're going to win this thing. I'm going to meet her. We're going to be friends. I manifested all of it.
Yes.
And so that's what happened. We went in there, guns blazing, opened up, won the competition, got to open up for Gretchen.
Wow.
Then after the Gretchen show, I'm pretty brave, especially after some adult beverages.
Yeah.
So I went backstage, and I just asked her, I was like, hey, Gretchen, can me and my family come hang out? And she was so cool. She's just like, hey, yeah, come on.
You gotta be bold, right?
Yes.
Right. And so we went and we hung backstage with her for like a few hours. Her and I finished some Jack Daniels, and we just sang all night long. And, I just asked her, like, hey, I want to do this for real. Like, how do I get to where you are? And she was like, you need to move to Nashville. And so that's what I did. I packed up my car. I sold a bunch of crab and tuna, because my family were commercial fishermen.
Okay.
And saved up some money and drove myself 4 days from Oregon out to Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, here I am. It's been an amazing ride.
Wow, I love that. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory of like what you do, of a Blake Shelton, of a Miranda, of a Carrie, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes, not just to get to the big level, but even a career level within music. And I always want to talk about that. And I'm sure, and it was, of course, even harder now with after COVID and all that. So let's take a few moments just to talk about that, the sacrifices and struggles you've had to make to get to where you are even today.
Yeah, I mean, the saying, if it was easy, everybody'd do it. That's like,
That's right.
every time someone talks about
everybody tries, a lot of people try, and then they learn real quick, okay, this is not me.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that saying because it's so true. Like, I like to, when people are like talking about my job or asking, or trying to make me feel like my career is less than, I always tell them, like, okay, draw me a picture. Now I want you to take that picture. I want you to go stand on the side of the road and try to convince even one person to buy that picture from you. Go. And I want to just be like, you have art, you put that art out there, and then you're asking people to keep providing for you to keep making that art to be able to go on tour. It's very hard. And the struggle is real. Like most of the time, 90% of the time, you're in a car, on a bus, on a plane. Only an hour to 2 hours are you actually on stage performing, doing what you love. So you got to think about that.
Yeah, the work is when you're not on stage.
Yes. And the work is all the weeks, hours, months, blood, sweat, and tears that it took to write that song, make that album, and then all the little songs that end up building your career. It takes years and years, and that's why they call it a 10-year town. Like there's no way you can do that in 1 year and make those relationships. And so it's a struggle. And when you get there, people aren't always the nicest to you. Like sometimes you get there and you're not treated very well, and then you got to go on stage and smile for everybody. Everything.
Because I'm sure people in the audience, every now and then you have a troll in the audience.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I have some stories. Oh man.
Tell us a couple.
One time we were doing like a very patriotic song, and someone came up to the stage and was like flipping me off, and it was really scary. But he was like really drunk, and I don't know if he was like prior service and like there was just not something good going on or something. But I was like a legitimate like worried that I was gonna have to get security involved. But things like that are scary. But for the most part, people, if you're being like genuine on stage and you're being real in who you are, people love it. Tell. So if you're being fake, people can see that right away. So you just always, you got to think about that. Like people are great at sensing heart and soul and just being genuine and authentic.
Like you talking about the work and all that, we definitely get what you mean. I mean, our work is a little different than yours, but we go through a lot. We enjoy this 30 to 40 minutes that we have.
This is the fun part.
This is the fun part. This is where I thrive. I get on there. I love to talk anyway. And then it's like before and after, it's like the planning of each thing, the making sure that even though I usually don't use it anyway, I still have my guide. And then it's like, you're emailing all these people back and forth. And sometimes most times it's a no, not right now. We'll pass. Now, granted, of the bigger artists and actors and all that, what we've learned is the PR companies used to just say flat out no. Now they're saying now's not the right time. So like, okay, they're getting. I'll point to Santa. Look, they're getting better here.
It just takes time.
Because I email all the time. But again, we wouldn't have had we're almost 500 interviews now since January 2020.
Good job, guys. That's a lot of work. It's amazing.
It's been a lot, and there are. And I know you feel this way too. There are days where we have an interview, and I just don't. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. But we get on there and we do our thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes those
And
vendors
it
are
comes
big
out to
for
be one of
being
the
best
best
ones.
out there.
Oh, it does. Always,
Exactly.
Because it's weird that that's the way it works. But when you don't want to do it and you do it anyway, usually that becomes some of your best shows.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's just that part of the brain that's, not the like surface part, but the back part that
Yes,
people actually want to hear talk. I don't know.
Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team behind you. In our opinion, the teams never get the love they deserve. So take a few moments to tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Yeah, I mean, man, my family has been since day one such a team. I'm so blessed. A lot of people don't have that support from their family. My husband, he's my biggest fan. And man, when I write a song, I get excited to show him, and I still get excited to perform in front of him. And I love that. We've been together for a long time, and it's still really cool. And, he's even thinking about when he gets out of the military, like maybe he could do something in music, like that would make him be able to be on the road with me and the baby. And so, we've talked about that. So he's obviously the biggest one. And my dad, mom, brother, sister, grandparents, like since day one, they've always like kept me believing in me. Like those days where, for the most part, we believe in ourselves and we know the goal and we know our strength.
Yeah.
But like the days when you don't have it, and they're the ones who pick you up, and they're the ones who make sure that, you're good enough. You got this. Besides that, Gretchen Wilson.
And y'all became friends now.
Yeah.
You manifested that.
Yeah, man. She was in my wedding. She was my maid of honor. She's been such a huge part of my life. I'm actually just about to go to Nashville. Don't tell my doctor. And she's helping throw me a baby shower tomorrow. I'm blessed. She did so much for me when I moved to town, and she's taken me on tour for years, and she's doing a little break herself right now, and she's got her own thing going on, but she'll always be in my life no matter what, musically and personally. And anytime I write a song, I send it to her and I'm like, hey, tell me what you think. And
we're hoping when she's ready for interviews again, we can get her on the show.
Right?
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah. She's a good talker. She's way better than me. She's taught me a lot. Yeah. And, so many people, a lot of people that Gretchen introduced me to. Craig Campbell, who set this up. He's amazing.
Oh, yes,
and it's funny because his name, Craig Campbell, and then you got Craig Campbell, right?
Oh, right. And there's the singer, Craig Campbell.
I always wonder if that like helps him or confuses people. Like
it probably does both. I bet sometimes when he emails people as Craig Campbell, they're probably, oh, I'm dealing with Craig Campbell.
Oh, I love it. And Bob Mitchell, he's an amazing guy. I don't know if you guys have met him. He was a big radio guy, and he's he's been so much help in so many ways. There's so many people at my band. It does take a team. It takes a village. It does. You can't do this on your own. And when people think there's only room for one at the top, that's the wrong attitude to have. There's room for lots at the top. There's only one.
And again, everybody don't have to be the Blake Shelton. They can be the Cody Johnson that's growing. They can be the rising. Because there's a lot of people. We know people that are in this full time. They are not with a label, but they call their own shots. They're making more money than they had never imagined, and they're doing it their way,
doing what they love. Yeah,
totally. You're the only you that there is. So it's no one can be that if you're being that. So
and again, like with us, we've been married 19 years and we've always done marriage our way. You know, we've been
done things differently.
24/7 couple since day one, pretty much.
No.
People have every year we hear people, oh, y'all are unhealthy and this and that, and it's crazy because a lot of the people that say that usually a couple years later they're divorced and we're still here. And so now when somebody starts to say that, I don't say this, but I think in my mind, you better not say this because it's a bad ending for people.
It's called being judgmental, and no one should be like that. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, because I don't preach that people should live the kind of marriage we live. I mean, we know we have something special here on the way we live it, and we found a way to build a life around that
for us,
and it works for us. I'm not saying it worked for everybody, but I still believe that people should spend more time together. Though I do, I will say that.
that's how you create a bond, and that's how you stay strong. And I agree completely. That's why I'm trying to get my husband out on the road with me.
Well, I mean, look at like all the big artists, that was always their ultimate goal, to get their spouses, once they get to that one point, get their spouses where they can go with them and they can do this together. I mean,
the whole family travels then.
And speaking of family and family whole business, we have a third co-host, as you know, our little 9-year-old that we let come on the show. So Sandy's going to go get him. Ask a few questions. And because last time you were on, I think he only asked one question. Now he asked 3.
He's up to 3.
Oh, yay.
So,
I forget what he asked me last time.
It'll be the first question he asked this time because he still always asks the food one. That was his last year question. Now this year he's got a couple more, and it's been pretty cool. And we got a 2.5-year-old daughter that when she gets older, she'll be plugged in the show too. Because this is really fun for us, and we don't, we hope that this becomes a Bobby Bones show, a Kelly Clarkson show, or something one day. But we also know it can end tomorrow, so we're just enjoying this while the ride is happening.
Oh, and that's what you got to do. You just got to do it for the fun and just. Love being a part of it. Hey, what's up, bud?
Hi, Jessie G. What's your favorite food?
Tongue twister.
Yeah.
My favorite food, I don't know if I said this last time, but can I pick brownies? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, turtle brownies with some caramel on them. I would eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And yours?
Mine is pizza.
Pizza?
That ain't changed.
Yeah.
Because it's been pizza the whole since we started the show. So that ain't changed.
I love it. Pepperoni pizza?
Yeah, pepperoni, sausage, and supreme.
He's got 3 different.
Meat eater. I like it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a meat eater.
Yes. So what's your favorite TV show?
Ooh, right now, I'm on a Narcos kick. Yeah, I don't know if you should watch that yet. But maybe in like 10 years. What about you? What's yours, bud?
Mine is SpongeBob.
Nice.
And what's been cool about this show is because he watches a lot of Nickelodeon and Disney shows, that because we do artists and actors now on the show, that we've been able to bring a lot of people from his shows on the show too.
So cool.
And I'm sitting there thinking, God, I wish this would have been when I was little,
I know.
Because at this point, he don't realize the privilege this has been. One day he will, but he don't realize that this is just normal to him.
I think about that all the time, how I'm going to raise our little girl to know the appreciation she has around the music.
But it's hard to do because when they're always around it, but sometimes you're like, well, you don't want to take away their excitement either. Because again, if you say try to, that's why I don't really push on how. I was like, what, he'll get older and he'll figure this out. That oh wow, not every kid got to do that.
Nope. Yep, you're a lucky boy.
So what's your favorite movie?
That's a good one because I've not been watching movies in the past couple years. I'm always watching TV shows.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna throw it back to The Patriot. I love war movies. They make me really sad and I cry. And my husband's in the military, so it's not good for me to watch them. But I don't think there's anything better than them, and I just really love that movie. What's yours?
Mine is Minions movie.
Nice.
He's even got the shirt.
Yes.
Woo! That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yes, they got this Despicable Me, Despicable Me 2, the Minions movie,
And Despicable Me 3.
and Despicable Me 3.
I love that.
And they got one coming, don't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, me for.
Or no, the minions are right to group.
Oh, right.
See, he knows it all.
Well, I'm gonna have my hands full with lots of movies like that soon. So we're gonna wait
She's
until
gonna
she's
have
old
babies.
enough, and then
Huh.
yep, I'm gonna have a baby in a couple weeks.
Not far.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye, Nate.
Bye. Thank you for the questions. Go eat some pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves doing this show, and he really loves it that we're video too. And it's funny. Recently, one of his favorite new artists is Callista Clark.
Oh, cool.
And it was really cool that we were able to get her on recently.
Oh, yes. A couple
Awesome.
weeks back.
And
enjoyed that.
when we finally actually got the approval and got the booking, I was like, look, Chris, guess who we got? And
Yes, because he's always playing Callista Clark. I'm like, oh,
I love her
excited.
single right now. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
and what's funny is, when we interviewed her, you could tell she was a little shy. It's like they were smart, with her, and her look, even she admits that, she might be 18, but she looks 12, 13. And so they were really smart on the song they picked to be that first big release,
yes, a
because they needed that
bold
power, that women
Female
empowerment song.
song.
Yes. Yes.
And it
because
worked.
Seeing her, I thought she was younger than listening to her.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So,
Mhm. What are some sources of inspiration for you?
Oh man, inspiration comes from so many places for me. I don't just listen to country. I listen to a lot of rock and roll. I listen to a lot of pop music. I like today's hits. Anytime Adele puts anything out, I'm always so excited.
Oh, she is amazing.
So, oh my gosh, I love her single. So yeah, I mean, my inspirations go all the way back from like Aerosmith to the Dixie Chicks to Heart, Pat Benatar, and then Adele, Sarah Bareilles, all those really soulful. I would say, like, if the singer has soul in their voice and they got that grit, that's usually my go-to when I'm listening. I like some quiet and flighty music, but like for the most part, I like a heavy beat, rockin', soulful, bluesy, that kind of stuff. So
awesome. And what would you like for your legacy to be as an artist? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
Oh man, I guess a really good live show. You can't really fake any of that like you can in the studio.
True.
In the studio, you can,
because that's what Garth is known for.
Yes.
Yeah,
His live shows.
Yes, absolutely.
great show, and he's so good at connecting with the audience and talking on stage. And I'm always looking for ways to like connect, because there's a difference between like having lots of lights and a fog machine and stimulation and actually like having an audience in the palm of your hands and reading all their minds, and yeah, so I guess it's probably that, and just writing songs that help people's lives, like Rainbow Lullaby. Like, I hope that's healing for people. I hope Timeless is somebody's wedding song. I hope that my music can bring good things to people's lives. So,
and you're talking about the connect, and I love what you said there about how there's a difference between connecting and just singing on stage and all that. Because I remember a story that Gabby Barrett's dad, I'm Facebook friends with him, but Gabby Barrett's dad told that back years ago, because she went 10 years before all Idol happened. And a lot of people don't realize that she's, like any other artist, she worked her guts out.
Yeah, some people think she's overnight
and then
success,
she's not.
but that's not the case.
But he said that he said girls can be so mean out there, and they're there to see the artists after her, so they would be with their arms all crossed when she's up, and they're on their phones and they're doing whatever, just chit chatting. And he said it's just the amazing thing that Gabby would get into about her second song or so, and all of a sudden you see some of these girls are like starting to open up a little bit. But you could tell they still don't want to give Gabby that credit.
Guarded still.
And then by the end of Gabby's set, he'd say they're all into the music and all that. And so she made that connection. So I definitely see what you mean. It takes that connection to make it on that stage.
I love that. Yeah. As a girl, as a woman, it's for some reason there's that thing because most guys can kind of just come up there and start singing and, you know, not really. I mean, they do deal with it, but I feel like as a woman, you deal with it.
There's that stigma there.
Yeah. And I don't know why, because, you know, like
it's like, you know, it's like a guy can have some pitchiness to him.
Yeah.
And everybody will still love him.
Yeah.
The girl has any pitchiness to her, and that's what they focus on.
Yep.
It's crazy. And again, it's not just like country radio. It's I mean, it's amazing. You watch Facebook and you see this, and you're like, man, the women, they have so many demons they have to fight in this entertainment world.
It's hard, man. But it makes you stronger in the end, and you know, I mean, whatever. If it's going to make me better later, sure, bring it on.
I love that attitude.
Love it. If you could say anything to your fans and followers, what would you want to tell them?
If anything that this last year and a half has shown us, it's that, you know, anything can change. Things can be taken. Jobs can be lost. Lives. So many things. Live each day, do what you love, you know, just don't stop chasing your dreams. Find something that fulfills you and makes you happy. Set your soul on fire. Find something like that. Don't give up on it. And thank you for helping me chase my dreams. To all my fans. You guys are the reason why I'm able to do this and be on the Chris and Sandy show. And just, you know, it's just, I'm so blessed, and I never forget that. I always remember that. And I'm here for you guys, even though sometimes I don't get back to my messages very well. I'm here for you. And yeah, we're going to hit it so hard next year. So I better see everybody out on the road.
That sounds great.
Yes.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. There's so many. Can I pick a couple?
Sure.
Absolutely.
You can even pick one that's here and one that's not here.
Okay. Oh, both of mine were here. Sarah Bareilles. I love Sarah's. I feel like she just, her songwriting style is so amazing. And it's not your typical, like, country is a lot of like, they say furniture in the room, storytelling kind of thing. She's more like metaphorical, and the way I love her so much. And maybe like Alanis Morissette or somebody more
that
like,
would be awesome.
Yeah, or like Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, like some hard rocking guitars in there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'll stop there.
So who's an artist that you like out there that you would love that if they had one of your songs?
Like if they sang one of my songs?
Yeah.
Man, you know, I really like Dua Lipa now in the pop world.
Oh, we love her.
I think she would do great singing a country song.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting.
I think her voice is just super.
Yeah, because we like her and Ava Max. We like those.
Yeah, that's
me too. Anything we actually considered that for a baby name. I was like, oh, Ava, that's cute.
Yes.
Yeah, so those Ava for sure too, and she could do a country song.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
I can see that.
Yeah, or maybe I can collab with them. Maybe they'll hear this and then they'll.
There we go. So, what's a song you've heard? And there's probably 1,000 of them, but a song you've heard that you wish you wrote.
I love everything that Jewel has done, and that would also be one of my picks too to songwrite.
Oh yeah, great.
I heard her on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was like, my love for her increased, and I didn't think that could happen. But when she was going through her struggling years and being homeless and playing out on the streets, and didn't have any money or anything. She was homeless. She wrote so many good things, like "Who Will Save Your Soul." That was her first song she ever wrote, and she barely knew how to play guitar. And like it's so good. Like even Bob Dylan, when she was on tour with her, would ask her about like her lyrics and stuff. And so probably one of Jewel's earlier songs, like "Hands" or "You're Meant for Me" or "Who Will Save Your Soul."
Love that. So as we finish out here, let's say you had a friend of yours and they feel called to music. They, when they're on stage, this is it. This is what they want to do with their life, but they're just really getting going. So what advice would you give that person to kind of help guide them the next couple of years?
It will be a struggle. The first few years are not fun. Like it's not, I mean, they're fun. Don't get me wrong. What we do is super fun. Even the hard parts are still better than any other job that you could ever have.
True.
But it's a struggle at first, because the first few years is learning who you are, learning what you want to say, learning your craft, learning how to connect with an audience, performing. So really, you just got to be a sponge the first few years. Soak it all in. You don't know everything. So have as many coffee meetings, talk to as many people as you can, like build those connections and network, and songwrite as much as possible for those first few years, because that's where you're going to get the cool, raw material that you can't really redo once you make it, So yeah, I would say just the first few years, just work your butt off in whatever way that is, that comes naturally to you, and then find ways to get better at the things that don't. Like TikTok does not come natural to me. I cannot do TikTok. Oh my gosh. My husband's always like, "Did you TikTok today?" And I'm like, "No." But those are things like, I have to work on.
What's funny is we've got a TikTok for the Chris and Sandy show, but I've never done it yet.
It's just, you gotta learn it, you gotta be on it all the time to be good at it. So and it's one of those things I'm like, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. So, but yeah, I would say just be ready for putting in the hard work for a few years before you expect any real cool things to happen. And then it takes 10 years, man. They call it a 10-year town for a reason. So, and
one thing I've learned when interviewing almost 500 people, from rising people to the bigger people and everything in between, I've learned one thing, that there's always a little bit of luck involved, but you'll never get to the luck part if you don't work your guts out at first.
If you're not prepared,
what do they call luck? They say preparation meets opportunity.
Exactly.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because again, all of a sudden, so many people we've had on the show where they're like, I was working my guts out and this and that, and all of a sudden, this person who believed in me opened this door.
Yeah.
And again,
the
door would not have opened if they didn't work their guts out. And
honestly, like, things are working for you that you have no idea at the time. So don't be stressed out when you're in your room and you feel like you don't have anything going on and you're just like, what am I doing? Take a breath, be still. There's stuff working in the universe that you have no idea. Someone's talking about you, someone's showing somebody music, that door's being opened that you had no idea. So, there is something to just letting things happen. And, just.
And I love that. Something happened yesterday that kind of floored us. We had the actress and host Brooke Burke on the show. And we were in the middle of the interview, and we didn't expect this, but one of my podcaster friends put a comment up there talking about how my dream guest is Steve Harvey. That he's like, "Oh yeah, I want his story on our show." And
you pulled up
and I pulled up the comment, and he saw that, or she saw that. And so she said, "Oh, so you would love to have Steve Harvey on your show?" I said, "Yeah."
And she's like, "Oh, I've been on his show so many times."
And so she pulls out her phone and goes to an Instagram story, and she goes, "I'm tagging Steve in this. Now you do your pitch."
Yeah, we got a 30-second pitch.
Right? So cool. It's funny. That's the first time we ever had a live in a live.
Yeah, so cool. And you know what? If you wouldn't have said it, it wouldn't have happened. So
exactly. Got to be bold, right? Like you did with Gretchen.
Yeah.
Right.
So as we finish out here, tell everybody how they can find you.
I mean, you can find me everywhere, even on TikTok. I'm at Jessie G Official, JESSIEG Official, for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then at Jessie G _music for Twitter. And then honestly, just go to jessiegmusic.com if you're confused about where to find me. It has all the little links at the bottom to find everything. Yeah, I mean, follow me on everywhere. I post differently on all platforms. Like Instagram is probably my most personal posting platform because I just feel like that's more my community of friends and fans. And then Facebook is like more where you'd see my videos first come up.
Okay.
And then TikTok is more, it's way different. It's like me doing trends. So,
Yes, that's crazy TikTok trend.
yeah, you'll see the weirder side of me on TikTok. So go over and follow me on all those and let's be friends. Sorry if I don't get your message right away, but eventually I'll see it and hopefully I get to see everybody at a show next year.
Well,
Awesome.
we really enjoyed having you on the show
We
today, and
did.
we look forward to having you back down the road.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys will hopefully get to meet our little girl.
That'd be
we
awesome.
love that. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Make her a star.
Yeah.
Yes.
She'll have the little cute little headphones on.
Oh, love it. Love it.
All right, you have a great day.
Thanks so much for
Thanks,
your time
Chris and
today.
Sandy. You guys have a wonderful